Good morning, everybody. It's Devin Bats again with yet another video. I know I've been away for some time, and I know I said that on one of my last videos. If y'all can excuse my voice this morning, it's about 6 o'clock in the morning right now, and I just wanted to let you all know that I apologize for being away so long. Life has had a hold of me, like it does most of us. I had started a new job, so I'm working in the mornings now. It's not overnight, so I'll be able to make more content. Um, I was working at Kraft Heinz, and it was overnight. But at 33 years old, I'm like, I'm not about to keep working myself to death with certain jobs. And I like, hard work. I like to fix things. I like to all of that stuff. I usually work warehouse jobs and stuff like that. But now I'm in retail right now, and yes, it was a pay cut, but on my spiritual journey that I've been on, I've realized that God is speaking to me through this job, even though the pay is a little less. Y'all excuse me, I'm in my prayer closet, so y'all might hear some noise here. Um, I took a pay cut, but the lessons that I'm learning at this job with, as far as my temper, um, getting to know people, having more restraint, um, having more empathy, more love. Even though I already have those things, it's just when life is hitting you back to back to back with so many different things, you tend to get depressed and you tend to close yourself in. And that's something that I do. I close myself in and shut myself off from the world, and I just take care of my kids. I go to work and I come home. So I had to pray that God, put me to a place that where I used to be, where I'm able to multitask in different areas of my life, which means I had to let him in on the areas that I didn't fully trust him in. So I had to do that. But I'm moving up. I just started the job like a month ago, and I'm already moving up. So that's a good thing because I show great leadership skills. So it's like God is magnifying these things in me in this environment with this lower pay rate and stuff like that. Because every job I've had, I paid attention to the people that I worked with, my higher ups, and how they did things. Things that weren't right, things that were okay, because I'm going to have my own business soon. So I want to learn as much as possible. That way, when I have staff in the future, I'll know how to treat them. You know what I'm saying? I know what and what not to do, how to work with them schedule wise. A lot of people have families and stuff like that. So I take every situation that I'm in and turn it into a learning situation. So that's it with that. Um, I got diagnosed with borderline personality disorder about 6 or 7 months ago. And that really put things at a halt for me, really, because growing up, I always knew that something was a little off with me. I was very sensitive. I had a lot of mood swings. I'm a very fluid person. I don't have just one look. Like, I have a million different looks. And, it's just a part of who I am. It's like how most people, they can dress a certain way, look a certain way every day and be okay with that. Me, I like to change my look up a lot, and it doesn't have anything to do with insecurity or wanting to be anybody else, wanting to look like anybody else. It's just I have an interest in a lot of different, ways to look, stuff like that. So I was talking with my eldest daughter. She just turned 11, and we both like emo stuff. We both like black. And then we both like, stuff that's rainbow. But we already know the real meaning of the rainbow. Okay? It's biblical. It's not what y'all think. It's not the other thing. So like, we like dark stuff. We like colorful stuff. We're very spiritual. We just love colors, and like, colors is kind of what kept me sane as a kid, because as y'all know, I went through a lot from, my previous videos that I had put up. I went through a lot as a kid. And I always liked colors. And then I grew up and learned that there's a such thing as color therapy. So, like, when I was in elementary school, those little squares, and they were transparent, but like they were different colors, and they would come in like a big puzzle. And you put puzzle pieces together with all different colors. I never put the puzzle together as a kid. I always took each color and I would just like hold it up and like look at it in the light, and I would just be so mesmerized, and I would have all these colorful images in my head that pertain to that particular color, and it would always calm me down. And I was outcasted a lot. I was bullied because I was always weird. I learned things differently than most children, understood things differently, felt things differently than most people, so I was a very misunderstood child. Borderline personality disorder is a disorder in which your brain didn't really get to develop like a normal person because you went through so much trauma. So it's like you spend most of your life in survival mode, and then this diagnosis really come about. Um, the smallest thing that like the smallest inconvenience to a person, to a normal person, feels like the end of the world, or the end of the world to somebody like me. And it would take hours or days, sometimes a whole week for me to get over something so small because my brain doesn't since it didn't develop like a normal person. I was always in survival mode. It sends you into depression when things in your life happen, especially unexpected things. Yeah, you can pray it away. Yeah, you can motivate yourself, but when you have borderline personality disorder, sometimes you need medicine in order to help with that. So I take medication for it, and it's been a lifesaver. Um, it boosts your serotonin levels in your brain. That way you can have more happy thoughts because they're antidepressants. So it's like I naturally have a low serotonin level naturally because of what I've been through. So it's like I need the medication to help me get to a place to where I feel okay for the day. I feel a little more happier. I can get more done because it was debilitating, like dealing with this. When I found out that I had it, it was kind of bittersweet because it was like, okay, it gave me an answer to something that I always wanted to know. I knew I was always different. Um, but at the same time, it's like, dang, my trauma did all that to me. I'm still an amazing person. I love people. I adore children. I love children. Um, I'm very compassionate, I'm very loving, very giving, and I love hard. I get attached to people really quickly. People who tend to have my disorder, they tend to grasp to people who show them a little bit of attention. Now, I'm not at that point. I used to be in my younger years where I would just get overly excited because somebody's showing me attention. Because, like I said, I never knew my father. My mom wasn't in the home like she needed to be. I didn't have the best influences around. I was abused a lot. So time somebody would act like they like me, I was like, okay, somebody finally, loves me. They finally like me. And then that'll be a disaster, and then it'll be depressing. I'll go back into depression. I battled depression since I was 3 years old. And as a 33-year-old woman, after battling it, for so many years and finally getting on medication, I've gotten a lot better with it. But people who tend to have borderline personality disorder, we tend to ignore red flags with a lot of stuff because that overwhelming feeling of finally somebody care. Finally, somebody loved me. Finally, somebody giving me some attention. And that's a place you don't want to get to because you want to always be your own best friend. You want to always love on yourself. And that's something that you have to learn. Now, I don't know if I'm speaking to anyone who may have this disorder, but it's so much to it. And it can be draining, even if you have a romantic partner or, family members. Like, relationships are very hard for people like us because you have to convince us of a lot that you actually care for us to believe it, because a lot of us been let down so much. And they would, most people would say, oh, well, that's everybody, you've been let down but so many times, so you're not going to, really trust people. But even when people are showing you that they really do love you and they're really here for you, your abandonment issues from the disorder that you have, like your abandonment, when this person is away from you, it feels like the end of the world. It feels like they're leaving you for somebody better, because having borderline personality disorder, you tend to down yourself a lot. because relationships are difficult. Your mood swings are difficult. Taking medication, that can be difficult on the person that you're with or family members. Um, the way that we respond to things. I'm a very emotional person. So I tend to get overly emotional a lot because, like I said, my brain wasn't developed to level my emotions. I've always been in survival mode. So it's something that I had to learn to do. And one thing I had to learn to do was be quiet. And that was one of the hardest things for me to do, is to be quiet, because I'm the type of person, hey, I've been through a lot. You're not finna play with me. You're not finna talk to me in a kind of way. You're not about to treat me in a kind of way. You can get to stepping, because I don't need you. So I'm one of those people. Um, we pay close attention to people's tone. It's not necessarily what they're saying, is how they're saying it and where it's coming from. For example, let's say you get into an argument with some, well, not really an argument. Let's say a person is already agitated from whatever it is that they're going through, and they walk into a room and you're in there, and let's say you've been cleaning up and then you move something that belonged to them, and they looking for it, and it can be right in front of a lot. The person that I'm talking about, they don't really like to really look for stuff. So this person I'm talking about this person. It can be right there in front of them. They'll get mad. They can't find what they're looking for. And damn it, did you? It's right there. But they didn't been exasperating and had an attitude, and before finally asking or actually really looking for what they supposed to be looking for. So when stuff like that happens for me, I immediately get angry, because I'm like, okay, all you could have did was said, I need such and such, but I don't see it. Did you move it in? Where did you move it to? It's over here. If you just bust in the room and you can't find what you're looking for, how am I supposed to know what you're upset about? Like, I'm not about to read nobody's mind with anything. So it's like, okay, now I'm feeling angry. Now I'm feeling like you have an attitude. Your tone is bad. So no, I'm about to say something back to you, because there's a way to communicate with people to get what you need, and you don't always have to be condescending and have an attitude with anyone about anything. So stuff like that can really send you to a place to where now you're angry and it's taking longer than normal to calm down from it. So you tend to shut down, you tend to get quiet, and you have to be careful with that with BPD, because you will spiral, and your anxiety will go through the roof, and your depression will be at an all-time high over something small like that. And this is why we need medication. I'm not a crazy person. I function throughout the day. I raise my children, I work, I'm meeting great people, I'm learning, different cultures of the people that I'm around, and I'm just surrounded by a lot of great people, and I finally had to open up and let those people in, because having borderline personality disorder, you don't want to let anybody in, because you're so used to being misunderstood by people. You're so used to friendships not working out. You're so used to relationships not working out. So I had to finally open myself up to it. Now, I have a book that also helped. And I come in here in just a second. My kids have been drawing me pictures. I have this workbook here, the Borderline Personality Disorder Workbook by this person here. I ordered it off Amazon because I heard great things about it. I'm on Instagram, and I became cool with people that had my disorder because it was so new to me. I've only had heard of it, but I was never tested for it. So having going through it, I feel like I wasn't alone now that I was attached to these people on social media, that was dealing with the same things. They were telling me about their skills that they use to help them bring them down from their anxiety, their depressions, their thoughts and stuff like that. Because one thing that this disorder does is it can make you confused. It can kind of trick your mind a little bit. So what I mean by that is you can have these thoughts in your head, but they're really like speculations about things. But it seems so real. It feels so real to you that you actually believe it, and you tend to believe it over your reality. So what I had to do was something called BPD versus me. And what I would do is I would write down the thought that I'm having, and I will write down what my reality is. I will write down what my BPD is telling me. Then I have my thoughts on the situation, you know, on the logical level. And it's like when I do that exercise, at the end of it, when I read it, I realize that my reality is actually the opposite of the thought that I was having during the borderline personality disorder episode. So that is a very good skill to use when you're in high distress and you're an overthinker, because I'm also an overthinker. So it's like naturally I'm an overthinker. And that exercise really helped out a lot to calm me down, to help me not overthink as much. I'm actually in a relationship now. As you all know, I got divorced a few years back. I've been in this relationship for a year and 8 months. My birthday is in May, and we're looking forward to getting married around that time. But I'm also preparing myself as well, because I went through a lot in my last marriage to the point where it felt like slavery to me. It felt like slavery. It was. I wouldn't say it was real toxic, but I will say it had some toxic moments, and it was just time to leave. Um, but this relationship that I'm in now, I've learned a lot, and I realized that a lot of stuff that people went through in relationships, I really didn't have that issue in my last marriage. So it was kind of hard for me to understand um, the mindset that men have in understanding relationships and stuff like that. Now there's no cheating, no nothing, none of that going on. I love him, he loved me. It's never been in my character to cheat anyway. I don't do that. So in this relationship, it actually has helped my BPD, but I had to go through some rough times in this relationship to get to that point, because my partner see things about me that I couldn't see about myself. When I was single, I was doing a lot of healing work. I was on my journey. I was straight. But getting into this relationship, it was things about me that I couldn't see about myself. And he magnified those things. So I was like, okay, I'm going to change it if it's a problem for him, because I don't want my partner to be unhappy. I don't want it's my job to make things easier for my partner, and it's his job to make things easier for me. But things aren't always going to be easy. So, we have our tough conversations. We have our easy conversations. He does concrete. He work in the sun, so he be moody a lot of the time. But he's a moody person anyway, so he's moody just as much as I am. But he's a great guy. God, I love this man. He loved me. He loved my children. Like, we pray together. We go to church together. We making plans to build our future together. We want to do things the right way. We want to have structure in our home, in our relationship, in our marriage, and like he's so amazing. And it's like he don't give himself the credit he deserves, so I give it to him. You know how men are. They don't give themselves credit a lot of the times, and they be doing an excellent job to us, but to them, it's always I can be doing better. I can be doing better. I can be doing better. You can only do what you can in a moment. That's how with that mindset, that's how some people just be grinding, but they not going anywhere. You have to allow God to speak to you, to be a lamp unto your feet, to guide you. You have to allow God to do that. Yeah, you're going to put some work in too, but it's not all you. And, I feel like sometimes men don't understand that. They always, it's in their nature to want to fix problems all the time. but they have problems of their own, but they don't want to get no help for those problems or whatever. And we as women, we try to assist them in that, but sometimes there's some things that we can't assist them in. They have to get that counsel from other men. Um, so I've been reaching out to more women that's married that actually love their husbands, that's not messing around and all of that. Because if you don't have a good marriage, you don't have a good relationship, you have a negative attitude, don't give me advice about nothing because I don't want to hear it. So take your own advice. I don't want it. So I've been reaching out to more spiritual women that's in good marriages. He's reaching out to men that's in good marriages, that's in ministry and all of that. So we're on we're in a great place, to be honest, but we had some tough times because we're two different people, two different backgrounds, two different households, two different types of living, two different types of everything. And at first we clashed a lot because we both wanted to always be right. But when we realized that we loved each other and that, we were helping each other grow, we decided that we need to change things about ourselves that wasn't helping us, that wasn't beneficial to our relationship. And we're in a much better place now. It's not perfect because nobody's perfect. You're forever learning. So as long as you have breath in your body, you're still learning. So we give each other grace. If we flustered with each other or flustered from the day that we had, we give each other space. And then when the coast is clear, we come back together. We pray. We cook together. we just do everything together as a little family. My daughters adore him. He adore them. Um, Sometimes it's a little difficult for the children because they're only used to their dad. I didn't date or anything during, after my divorce. I just worked and took care of my children. So the only man they were used to was their dad. But my fiance, he dated multiple women that had children before. And I had to explain to him because he was like, the kids not listening, they not taking to me. This was toward the middle of our relationship. And I had to explain to him, I said, listen, you dated women that had children before, but they had never been married. I say, and what a lot of women these days are doing is they're messing around with the first man that tell them that they fine or tell them that they look good. You know what I'm saying? Tell them they pretty, tell them they sexy, all that foolishness. And they'll mess with the guy and introduce their children to him, stuff like that. So children will naturally adapt if that's their lifestyle. My children didn't have that kind of lifestyle because I'm not that type of woman. So they couldn't get used to him for a long time. And that kind of set us back. And, I can't get mad about that. No man wants to get married into, a relationship with a woman and he don't feel respected by the children. He don't feel heard. He can't be a father to them like he want to be. So I get that. That was a big problem with our relationship. But we ain't got on the same page with that as well because things are moving ahead. It's always good to have a good support system in your life. He's part of my support system. He deals with my disorder better than anybody else that I know. A lot of people don't know that I have it. I told my mom and my sister and my eldest daughter and my fiance. Those are only four people that really know about it. I don't tell, and like looking at me or interacting with me, you wouldn't even know that I had it, to be honest. I would have to actually tell you. You would have to actually be around me on a daily basis to see what my life is like and to see what triggers it, what triggers me and stuff like that. But with this workbook that I've been working on, step by step, is teaching you how to balance your emotions and improve relationships and grow beyond it and reclaim your life. And that's all I've been doing in this time that I've been away. And again, I apologize. It's just a lot has been going on. It felt like my world was crashing down when I found out that I had it, and it's so much to it. Like the whole list of what we go through in a day, like it's never ending. The list is so long. It's like you have multiple personalities. It seem like it's tough, man. It's really tough on a daily basis. out of nowhere, you can be fine, and within a few minutes, you feel depressed. Or you can wake up, and before you start your day, you already feel you're angry, you're agitated, you're sad, you're crying, your emotions all over the place. Sometimes I wake up and I feel like that. Or sometimes a few hours into my day, I start to feel that way, and it takes a long time for me to feel normal again. Sometimes it would take a few days. Um, there's no such thing as normal for me. Um, like I said, I'm a very fluid person. Um, I'm just free. Some days I'm a hippie. Some days I feel dark. Some days I feel somewhat normal. You know, some days I want to dress up. Even if the occasion don't quite call for it, I dress a certain way that don't match up with the environment. But that's just me. That's just me. I already have a heavy voice. I sound country when I talk. Like, people would look at me, especially when I'm dressed up. And I can be quiet because I'm quiet in environments because I'm naturally introverted. Sometimes I can be extroverted, but it's rare. I think when my BPD, when I'm spiraling, I can seem like I'm an extrovert, but I'm really an introverted person. But it can send you into moments where you just feel fearless and you indulge in, self-sabotaging behavior and stuff like that. Like, it's all over the place. I know I'm all over the place with this, but I'm just trying to explain to y'all the best way I know how that it's draining dealing with this disorder, but with the medication, with the books, church helped out a lot. I read my Bible. I come in my prayer closet. I'm surrounding myself with better people. I cut toxic family out of my life. I'm just in a much better place. Because when I first found out about it, it was really hard on me. And I just felt like I'm not understood by anyone. My partner didn't know how to understand me. It got to the point where I just shut down and I wouldn't even talk to him. Because I'm like, if he don't understand what I'm trying to say, then ain't no sense in saying anything. Just talk to God about it. But now things are a lot better. It's like you can't really expect somebody to understand it if they never really went through it. But I didn't really expect him to understand. I just expect him to empathize with me better. But he's a tough guy, so he have his way of thinking. I have mine, and we done got a lot better at that. So we understand each other a lot better now. But that's what's been going on with me. And on top of that, my mom, she had a stroke. She had went to therapy and stuff like that. She's still blind because she's diabetic, so she lost her sight some years back. Turns out she has kidney failure, both kidneys. One of them can be corrected, but she's on the donors list for another kidney. She asked me if I would give her one of mine because she has dialysis 3 times a week and it's really draining her. I may be getting that surgery. I'm still praying on it because my mom has so many health issues. I'm like, would giving up my kidney actually help anything? I've had my doubts because my mom's health is really bad. She's the only parent I got. Like I said, I never met my dad. Previous video, I never met my father. My mom is the only parent I got. So, and both my grandparents are gone. So, I've been thinking about it more lately. I got more insurance and stuff. So, I'm going to get checked out to see if we would be a match. And then I'm going to look into the surgery. So, I'm going to pray on that. I help her out a lot when I can. My brother with autism that lives with her. When she's at dialysis, me and my uncle will get him and we'll keep him because she don't feel well. She be extremely weak when she leave. But it's just a lot going on. A lot has been pulling and tugging on me, and I'm like, I gotta get back to my videos. I gotta get back to the people. I gotta get back to my ministry. I've been writing sermons. I'm about to get ready to get back into the church for real, for real. and just really go in. I gave God my yes. I'm letting all this hurt go, all this old church hurt, because I had to realize it's people. It's not God. You know, the people, they were, oh, I went through church hurt, or I got church hurt. And I would just hear the phrase. I didn't really connect anything to it until I really had to dissect why I stepped back from church for a little while. And I had to realize I had church hurt. But I kept my relationship with God. So I was never angry at God. I could never be angry at God for anything. I can be upset or I can be heartbroken, but never angry. You know what I'm saying? So I know that people are just people, no matter what their title is. They go through things too. They human just like us. You know, you can't put people in this perfect little bubble because they're spiritual beings. I got ordained as a minister like 7 years ago. And I done ministered to a lot of people. I done coached a lot of people through things. I done help people in a lot of ways. But inside I feel empty. And only God could fill me up, but not all the time. I was on the right track with God because I was just so exhausted and I couldn't turn my brain off because of what I have. And at the time, I didn't know I had it, you know. And I've been operating throughout my entire life with this disorder and didn't even realize. I just felt like something was wrong, something was off. Why am I like this? But I had to also embrace it because it's something that I can help other people with who too embarrassed to talk about it, who too scared to go and get help. My life is not my life. So I can never be angry at God for anything that happened in my life because it's for other people. Our lives are for other people who are weaker than we are. We have to be the ones to be strong. And that ain't an easy thing, but it's going to help deliver a lot of people. You know, you can help them, you know, with their how to balance their stuff out. So I'm learning along the way, and I can also share with y'all what I'm learning that way. If anybody is watching a video that actually has it, I hope that it can be a help to you. I know it's a 30-minute video. I'm sorry. I just wanted to update y'all with everything that's been going on with me right now. I have a lot of good topics that I wrote down that I want to talk to you all about. I'll probably be making another video later on today or sometime tomorrow. But I'll probably do it. I'll probably do it tonight because I get off work. Yeah, I can do it sometimes tonight because I have time. I got off late last night, so that's why I had to get up 5 o'clock in the morning and set up that way I can make this video. Oh, and my fiance is a drummer. Those are his drums. He's a drummer, a very good drummer. I know y'all like, she play drums? No, I don't play drums. So she's, yeah. I'll preach, she can play drums. That's how that's gonna go. Um, but thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for listening. I know a bit of what I was saying was kind of all over the place, so hopefully I can break. I will be breaking it down a little bit more as I go along. I have all my notebooks and notes here, but I can't figure out what page for this particular video I put my actual notes on, so I had to try to go by memory, and it is early at 6 a.m. So forgive me, y'all. But thank you for still being subscribed to my channel. Thank you for liking and commenting. If you have any questions, if you have any input, I would love to answer all of that. So you can still comment below. I love you guys. Thank you. Have a blessed day. May God watch over y'all and put a hedge of protection over your households. May he cover y'all in his blood and be a lamp unto your feet to guide your way. Thank you for God for allowing them to find my channel and to actually want to hear what I have to say. So I'm just real grateful this morning from what I'm going through because my passion is to help others. I love people. So I just want to give my thanks to God for that. I love you all. I will see you later.